Want to help me make this a happier and healthier world? Like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to work with me, go find me at ryanspence.biz. So if you were to give others advice, maybe in your situation about, revealing your relationship and having kids, what would you tell, especially female streamers and content creators, what would you tell them from your experience? Maybe
Oh my
any
gosh,
advice?
do it sooner. I would say that because you know how the whole normalize this caption is so popular right now. We live in normalized media, like normalize stretch marks. That's a thing I see a lot lately. Normalize wearing a bikini in your 40s. Whatever. I wish I could have normalized having a little one, a toddler, and running around conventions in high heels. And it would have just been nice to say, like, on my social media, like, hey, had a great day at the convention. Too bad, like, my mom back is killing me at the end of the day, because I think that people would have thought that was funny or interesting or relatable. And I spent so much time trying to be pretty on the internet for likes on photos, because that's all I knew to do, because I was trying to follow what all the other cosplayers were doing to try to grow my brand and get bigger and do all the thing, when I actually think I could have grown faster by normalizing just being a parent and having an unusual job. And I think I would have had this key factor called relatability, which I think I missed out on in the first 4 to 5 years of building my social media presence. People are telling me now more so than ever that I'm relatable. And I read a book by Felicia Day called I can't remember which one it is. I'm only weird on the internet, or I can't remember the name of it, but in her very first few pages, she's talking about having social anxiety and being a nerd and kind of a lot of things I identify with sometimes. And she talked about making a social media post on Twitter. And she's like, am I hitting all the 3 things? Is it funny? Is it this? Is it short? Is it relatable? And she drew like a little bubble map of things that were most important in a social media post, and relatable was like the biggest bubble. And yeah, so my advice would be, do it sooner than you think. If you're a cosplayer right now and you want to have a baby, have a baby. Wonder Woman was pregnant in the comic books, in one arc of the series. Like, do Wonder Woman pregnant, I don't care, but just be you, tell people sooner. People need that right now.
Yeah, that's great. Great advice. I love that. And I'm sure it would have probably reduced a lot of stress for you. I'm assuming you had some
stressful.
Stress. Yeah, I bet. To hide everything. I mean, granted, you had very good intentions for that.
Hide such a word. It's the appropriate word to use, because I was hiding it, but it sounds like such a deceitful word.
That's true.
And I don't know what other word to use. Yeah.
Protect.
Preserving, protecting. I don't know, but I have to tell you how difficult it was to just even take like a selfie in your house, because I would have to make sure nothing was behind me. Okay, is there family photos? Is there a little kid's shoe? Whenever I was building Dr. Boom in the garage, I mean, I have like pink bicycles and sleds, and like I had to frame that so perfectly. And if I ever knocked my camera even a little bit, which I did one time, my camera slid. I'm like, oh, and it was like a full view of my little girl's like tricycle or bicycle. And I was like, geez, they're all gonna know. So, but I mean, that's real life. And I wish that if I had to go back in that particular moment where the camera fell over and, there's our family group of bicycles, I wish I could have been like, hey, look, you guys, little girl has no training wheels now, yay! But I didn't, so.
Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like it would have been a lot less stressful. It would have actually made you even more relatable, potentially.
Yeah, relatable. And even if nobody in chat has a family right now, they came from one, A, or they might want one, B. So relatable,
So it sounds like really, communicating this has actually, would you say it's been more of a benefit than actually, any negative repercussions you faced?
Yeah, absolutely. Because this makes me sound, I don't even care what this makes me sound like, but I just don't give a crap about anybody who just left my page because of my family. Like, I mean, I don't know how many years left I have to be with my family. Probably like 60-ish or so, but none of this matters right now, like in the grand scheme of things. This right now, which is so fun to be in, which is this cosplay world and this BlizzCon world and this Hearthstone streamer world, is so fun right now. But I know myself years from now is gonna look back and be like, girl, you didn't need it. Like, if it's gonna destroy me or my family later, or toxic people in this world right now, this tiny little blip of my tiny little timeline on this universe, then I don't need it. So
yeah, I like that perspective. So that's amazing. Some time you'd like to take a few questions from chat?
Oh, I love everybody in chat. Yeah, I recognize most of these names, so absolutely. And you guys, I want to say there's really no off limits questions. So I'm kind of an open book.
Thank you for that. And so, doing the little transition before the topics too, I want to say hi to everybody. So, hey, Doug, Landar, CK, Stormy, I know you're on Orc now. John, man, good to see you guys. Wanted to make sure I have my full attention. And Mark, thank you for the gifted sub to Doug as well. And Blee, everybody in chat. So, want to make sure I gave Allie my full attention. But what questions do you have for Allie while we kind of pause before our last topic? So, while they're coming up with questions, so you're the finalist last year in the TwitchCon cosplay, and you're probably going to be again this year, right? I mean, we're just going to guarantee it, really, right?
I just found out that Cinderace is entering. Do you know who Cinderace is?
I don't think so.
She was the BlizzCon winner last year, and she's like chef's kiss of cosplay. She's just so great. And I found out she's entering, and I saw the piece that she's working on today, and I did get like upset stomach there for a second. I was like, oh no, I thought I had this, and then I see that, I'm like, oh, I'll be happy with third. It's fine.
Well, and I think I watched a little bit of the BlizzCon one, but I didn't. It was certainly a different production than TwitchCon's, if I recall correctly. Now, I was at the TwitchCon, and I was there cheering you on. You had by far the biggest section of cheering, which was just amazing. It was really awesome coordination by your really awesome mods, but especially Nadia and Ryan, of course. They did a fantastic job getting everybody together, getting seats, and we had like a front, middle, center row, and like you could. Like, I watched the replay, and everybody said that knew our community is like, oh yeah, you could hear how loud the cheer was from your community, and that's a credit to you. I mean, that's the community that you built these last couple years. Being you, and with all the hard work you do just on stream and what you create, in addition to everything else you've done kind of behind the scenes, to protect your family and such. So it truly like a huge inspiration. Like every human in the world that's on Twitch needs to follow you right now, just for everything you've accomplished. So
I'll take them. The more the merrier.
Let's see. So yeah, how long have so Doug's got a good question. How long have you been cosplaying?
Well, so cosplaying as far as like publicly has been since it's like end of 2013 or beginning of 2014. It's been about 6 years. But as far as like, that's when I knew what cosplaying was, which I know now is just like costume play. So I guess I'd been costuming for like 10 plus years because let's put it this way, anytime I could go somewhere and a costume was part of the thing, I was over the top. So like if there was a costume contest to be won here in like my state, whether it was at a bar, whether it was somewhere, I don't care if the bingo hall was having like Halloween night, it's my thing. So Manfred and I in particular would dress up together, well before we were married and we were just, hanging out. We would win contests, and so for years I've been doing this. And if he had a work party and it was like ugly sweater, you best believe I wasn't ugly sweater. I was like full on head to toe, and so was he. We always win, and it's not that it's like we have to win. It's just that's how into it we are.
I've never thought about that. Yeah, you just crush it. Just crush it at Halloween costumes. And
I love to dress up. I love to be, I can credit this to my mom, I guess. I grew up with like fantasy shows. I grew up with Star Trek, and I grew up with Labyrinth and Legend and all these shows. This was my childhood. So I guess it was just a natural progression that I would have to become, other things.
Well, it's good. A lot of kids just kind of give up on their dreams. They're like, oh, I'm gonna be a firefighter. Oh, I don't really want to do that. But you like saw these things that you loved and you made it a career out of it, and that's mastered it. And so that's super cool. That's gonna be very inspiring to the kids out there. So hold on, like literally hold on to your dreams, kids. Whatever you really enjoy to do, make it a business or make it something you're great at.
Yeah, middle-aged mom becomes a streamer on Twitch. Like, that's not a headline you see every day. So, I mean, I guess you can just embrace it whatever age you are, whatever point in your life you are.
I think you just found a book title for a book that you need to start writing, like, right now.
I already have my book title.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even know you were working on one.
I'm not, but when I do.
When do you find time, in like 10 years?
Yeah, I already have the title. It's Trailer Park Princess.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's where it all began, you guys.
That's great. I like that. Well, look for that on new shelves here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, just give me some time to write it, you guys.
I am if I find time in my schedule, I'll help you with writing that. So I'm on the creative side with writing and ideas and stuff like that. So I'm always here for you to throw some things out there.
I probably would need a ghostwriter. It'd just be me and like a mic, and I'd have 70 hours of me talking. Like when I tell my stories on stream, and I know everybody in your chat right now who's been in my stream knows I tell a good long story. And then I would have to have somebody just listen to it and write it for me.
That's the way to go. Honestly, that sounds great. That's how I would rather. Well, when I come up with YouTube scripts, I write it all out and I type it all out, but then I spend couple hours doing it, and then I'm exhausted, and I'm too exhausted to do my video. And I do my video like a day or two later. I'm like, I just wish I just would have did a video and then spend more time editing all the things I messed up instead of, coming up with these good ideas, writing it out, then doing it later. So, yeah, maybe we just need to hire a typer.
The opposite. It's off the cuff. When I need to record something, I just turn on the camera and I'm like, well, here we go.
Yeah, story time is great with Allie. I love it. I'm always excited for that, the first part of the stream. Hi, Sway Bay. Welcome. So we get another question from chat from Landar talking about, have you made cosplay for another person? I even can think of a couple of them, but do you want to talk about the cosplays you've made for other people?
Yeah, it all started with I was a hair and makeup artist for my local TV station. And so at this point, I was a small effects person locally for small film. I did a one feature film, and so I got kind of well known in the community for being like the special effects girl. And so I got asked by my local station to do a feature on how to convert store-bought costumes into what would look like custom creations as like a feature the station did to help inspire parents. Everybody has the same costume. Especially when Frozen, this was when Frozen came out, and every little girl was like Elsa and Anna walking down the street. There was like 50 of them. It's like a horde of Elsas coming at you. So it was a cool feature because I took a costume and I completely transformed it, and then we did this segment on how to do that. And so that led into my first transformed cosplays because I made them for my little ones, and then I made a commission piece for another little one. So it started with children's costumes. And then my first big costume I did as a commission for somebody else was for somebody much bigger than me, which was difficult. I made an armored Bowser cosplay for a man who's like, I don't know, 6'1", big dude. And it was hard because we live in two different states. So I had to get all his measurements, and figure that out. But yeah, and then I've since made them for my teammates. I've made them for Slissa and Nicolina. And I was working on one for Bloody, but COVID happened and we're kind of have that back burner. But yeah, I've made a bunch for other people.
Yeah, they've been amazing too, just as amazing as like what you would wear, because I got to see I saw Slissa's just incredible work. So I definitely for the YouTube video, everybody here I think already knows you, but for the YouTube video I'll definitely have your Instagram just admire the beauty of all those projects. I am by no means, I'm kind of the opposite of you, where I am not patient to do the actual work. So we're kind of opposites in that front. I'm more of like, I have a really good idea. Okay, somebody that's talented and patient, can you do this? So like I'm just in awe of, your attention to detail and you know, the time that you take, and I mean, it energizes you, so that helps. But this is the time that you take to do everything and do it, you know, really well. Whereas if I'm like, I don't even like to read instructions when I buy stuff. I just set up this. I set up this mic, and I'm like, well,
I never said I read them.
well, but to that point though, if I don't read them, and then I don't do it right, then I'm like, okay, well, it's my own fault, but I'm still gonna be mad at this. So, yeah. Yeah, and to that point, what Swaybe said, actually, that's actually when I met Swaybe. I think when I was your assistant handler, while one of your costumes, you're in Valera. It was either when you were in Valera or Dr. Boom at BlizzCon. I was assistant handler for you, and then I met Swaybe, I think. So this is like this perfect triangle of friendship over here that we're having right now. Even though we don't have a BlizzCon this year, but. I think that's just so cool. I can
actually say I've met almost everyone in chat, and that's the beauty of my job. And one of the things that's made me sad I couldn't cosplay this year due to COVID is because I'm one of the few streamers who actually gets to meet tons and tons of people, because I traveled for years as a cosplayer. So thank you everybody in chat right now who took the time to come meet me at a convention. Some of you drove pretty far to do that, or flew. So yeah, it's very nice. It's been my pleasure to have the opportunity to meet you guys.
Yeah, and if you haven't met Allie in person, you must do that. I mean, I bought a $50 Comic-Con ticket just to meet Allie for the first time, and it was well worth it. Best $50 I ever spent in my life, because then we became friends, and then I got to lift Thor's hammer, which you inspired me to do and put on video, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, you were a boss with that too.
I want another try though. I feel like if I did it right. I know we mentioned one of your friends had done it. Now I feel like I could do it one-handed. I was able to do it two-handed, but not one-handed. But yeah, Allie is worth every penny you get to meet her in person. She's just even more fantastic in person. Let's see, any other questions? But yeah, I mean, next year, I think the con season is just going to be amazing. Well, assuming everything is like some kind of normal. I mean, there'll probably be a lot more people that are worried about touching other people, even if somehow there's, cures and stuff like that for everything going on. I feel like it's going to be a little while before it ever is like, hey, openly hugging everybody and like waving and shaking hands and high fives and stuff. But I really miss the con season.
Yeah, and I'm trying to envision what new con season is going to look like for me, because there's a whole new crop of cosplayers that are always coming up, and I've been seeing it. I've been phasing out of doing cosplay work as far as a guest for years now. I've been phasing it out. I mean, I used to do 20 plus conventions a year, and then 15, and then 10. I think last year I did like 5 or 6. And I think that's because I might need to be a guest in a different capacity now. And I was talking to a guy named Chris, who's actually the CEO or the owner of Planet Comic-Con, and he was talking to me about. He said, "I want to." He was very kind. He said, "I want to use you at conventions. I want you there." He was very clear to me. He said, "But I don't know how you need to be there." Because there's so many people now with like 100, 200, 300,000 followers, and cosplay's changed so much, and I don't really fit the typical cosplayer picture anymore, and I don't have the followers anymore, and there's a whole reason for that, but that's a whole nother phone call. But we were talking, and it's interesting because I might be getting into the line of like speaker or presenter. Like the way I'm going to work for conventions now, I think, is just going to change. Host, presenter, esports coordinator stuff. Like I don't know where it's going to change, but I'll still do it.
Yeah, I think that's perfect for you. I mean, are you excited about that? Are you nervous about it? Or you feel like you're being thrusted into that instead of cosplaying?
I'm definitely not being thrusted into it because I'm making the path my own. No one's made that path for me. I am forging it. Mm-hmm. We just don't know what to call it yet, because I've talked with other convention coordinators and trying to figure out what space they need, and inventing one, because a lot of conventions are now wanting to incorporate esports and having like an esports section of the Comic-Con, and they don't know how to do it. So I've actually consulted with 2 Comic-Cons on how to make that happen, and you kind of need somebody to coordinate the events and like I think that it needs to be live streamed. I think conventions should live stream now, and someone to host that. So yeah, it's in the works. So all of you who've seen me at conventions before, I don't know that you're going to find me behind a booth anymore. I don't know that I want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a perfect role for you. I'm excited about that for you.
I mean, my ass is getting bigger. I don't want to squeeze it into Wonder Woman anymore and do photo shoots. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry.
I have, having seen you at TwitchCon and BlizzCon and knowing everything that you did for Dr. Boom and the hundreds of pounds that you carried around, I feel like Dr. Boom just wore you out here. That's what did it, right? Yeah.
That's not what did it. What did it now is the when I say I don't fit anymore, I just don't fit, Mighty, right? One of the last conventions I did, they had a whole line of us girls, a whole line, and there was me and Zabs and like 15 other cosplayers, and I don't have a problem with it, and all my friends who do this know that I don't, and I support them. And I support a lot of my friends, like Patreons, and for their, if they do lewd work and stuff like that, it's fine. But like, I just don't do lingerie cosplay, and so I had what used to be like a weekend of making a couple $1,000 at a convention or whatever to help support my lifestyle and being a cosplayer, started dwindling down to like 1,000. And I had a convention where I made like $200, and I was like, I didn't change anything, and that was the problem. I didn't change anything, but I realized it wasn't a problem to me because I just don't do lingerie cosplay, which is fine. But yeah, conventions have changed, so actually that's what did it for me. I wasn't going to go there, but I just decided to. So yeah, I just don't fit in the space anymore. I'm not willing to take those kind of photos, and so because I'm not willing to take those kind of photos and do that, and that's what conventions are looking for. They're looking for people with big followers, and that's how you get the big followers now. I'm just like, well, I don't fit, so I need to find something else to do. And that's okay. It's okay. Again, I have no problem with, I think lingerie cosplay is gorgeous. It's just not for me. So I know you didn't ask specifically about that. I'm sorry, but that's actually one of the things that pushed me out. So
no, that's fine to share. I mean, anytime I get to listen to you, I love it, and you provide such good insights, and that's why I think that new role that you're blazing is going to be perfect for you. Like, you have so many good ideas and so much knowledge, and you can speak it and communicate it so well. I think that's going to be such a great role for you. Like cosplay consultant, cosplay, you're like event coordinator, kind of like those are the kind of the titles that I come up with in my head when I think of like what you could be doing and help them run an even better show, because I think some of us would say that there were some snafus with TwitchCon's, cosplay contests last year. So not to be critical of them, this is my opinion, not yours or anybody else's, but I know like many of your fans were a little frustrated with how some things were, but it is what it is. I mean, not everything can be perfect, but that's where we get great insights from people like you that have done this to make things better.
Yeah, I have lots of ideas, and hopefully someday they'll listen and see what works for them.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. So I want to transition to our last topic before we end the show. Are you still good on time and everything?
I can stream as long as we need to.
Okay.
All I do is stream after this. You guys, after this, I'm working on this cosplay. We're gonna make a Space Goat tail, so I hope you all are excited.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be bringing the crowd to you. So we'll give you like a little bit of time, after you jump away from here, so you can get ready. Splash some water in your face, drink some water, say hi to the family. It was like, hey, I gotta go back, got to stream, gotta do it. But yeah. So one of the topics I want to transition to, were we talked about. Maybe one of your struggles right now with streaming, or maybe your main struggle, is like feeling like rank anxiety a little bit in Hearthstone, but really it was kind of more of along the lines of not necessarily how you rank, but maybe what others think, like maybe especially other streamers or other people. Can you help kind of talk a little bit more about that, maybe narrow that down a little bit more? Because I know that's a very broad interpretation that I made.
Yeah, you guys, Mighty Right did an excellent job, communicating with me before we did this to specifically figure out what we needed to talk about. And when we talked about that, we were really able to hone it in to find out that one of the I don't so much get rank anxiety so much as I get the anxiety because I'm female cosplayer on Twitch. you know, it's like, I feel like you'd forgive your favorite competitive streamer if they were lower ranked than they usually are. But then I feel like, and it's just me, you guys, I'm sure it's just my problem, but I think that men coming into my stream be like, oh, it's that cosplay girl who thinks she can stream Hearthstone. Oh, of course she's not legend yet. I might not even care that I'm legend yet, but I have to tell you that I get so many people that come to the stream be like, what rank is she? What MMR is she? And then when they find out, they instantly leave. And it's like, I don't see as many men have to deal with that. Like, or, oh, isn't that just the cosplay girl? Or like, oh, this is, right? It just, my rank anxiety is worsened because I feel like they think I'm just a girl who's just the cosplayer on F2K. Like, and that's where, yeah, it's the combination.
So what? So let's go to one of those scenarios. So somebody asks that, and then, you know, then they go away. You see them go away. You know, put yourself in those shoes. Like, what are the all the feelings that kind of come up when that happens?
I really just only get annoyed. Because I've sorted through so much stuff in my life already, and I really don't care if they go away necessarily. I'm annoyed that I thought about it for that long, even. And then it bothers me that I got annoyed about it. It's hard to... Oh, I'm an overthinker. So, like, first I'll get annoyed. Then I'll be like, why did I get annoyed? Oh, they wasted my time and took time away from the stream because then I had to think about it. And then I'm annoyed that I got annoyed. And then I overthink it all.
Well, many of us are overthinkers. I think that's what society makes us do is, you know, question ourselves, and we have enough things in our society to make us say, oh, well, you know, this didn't go the right way. What could I have done differently? Or, you know, what did I do wrong? Not saying that's what you think, but, you know, just in terms of overthinking, I actually like what you're doing is you're, you know, as a coach, you know, life coach, what we preach is, okay, what is the feeling? That's why I always ask about feeling. So what are you feeling? What are you thinking? And you're already going to that next step. You know you feel annoyed. Then you think about it, and you're like, oh, well, why did I get annoyed? And that's great. Like, asking the question why is exactly what we want to do when we have a feeling we don't want to feel again. So let's explore that a little bit more. So you feel annoyed. You ask, well, why was I annoyed? And it sounds like you say you go into that and you're like, well, I'm annoyed because I spent time thinking about it.
It's more like I gave it attention, you know? Okay. It's like, I wish I could real time get through the things I know don't matter. But, because at the end of a stream, I can usually rationalize out, like, oh, why did that person bother me for that stupid MMR comment? Or why, right? When I know it doesn't matter. But I'm not very good at real time in the moment handling that. And I'll show my annoyance, or I don't know if I answered your question.
No, I think what I'm hearing is you wish you did not react to it. Well, I
wish I didn't.
Like, you wish you didn't show it. It sounds like you wish you wouldn't have gave it any attention right away, or that you would show the emotion.
Because I am an emotional person. I do care. Like, I do care. I care for less time than other. I think, like, maybe someone it might deeply hurt. Maybe a new streamer who's like, that person really thinks I'm a bad player or whatever. Maybe, and a long time ago, I did analyze it longer. But I almost feel like I should know better now. You know, but I can't help but in that moment be like, you little jerk, you know, when they come to my stream, and it upsets me for a second. And I'm glad I get upset for less time, and I just wish it didn't when it happens. But I don't know that how to change that. Yeah.
So your desired outcome would be you see it, you don't even think about it, you don't even react to it. That's what it sounds like your desired outcome would be.
Maybe, because then there's also the streamer side of me who's like, this is fun, let's like rile this. Sometimes I actually really like riling people up, or I like getting, you know.
That is something you do sometimes. I'm like, oh, Allie's setting some fires here.
Because it's a hard balance, Ryan. It's hard to do my normal thing, but then also, like, my stream's been quiet for a while. Maybe we do kind of need this troll. Like,
just to get some engagement.
Yeah, because it's a weird balance. It's like, I don't know.
I think that's Well, first of all, I mean, it sounds like you've done a great job. I mean, you've already recognized that it maybe bothered you more in the past and it bothers you less. And so I think you're really close to like tackling it and getting to that point. I think it's just a matter of, I mean, this is my thoughts, just more honing in. What do you want this to look like? And it sounds like at some point you would just like to like, unless you want engagement, you want to just kind of brush it under the rug. Don't let it use any energy and don't respond to it, which I really like. But it sounds like you want to be more in control of that. You want to be more in control of your reaction, I think.
And then there's the times where you can't, the times where I do want to bring it to attention because I do need engagement or something, and it might be funny to like call this person out. Then I have to realize that my chat doesn't know, not that I'm a good actor with it, but I pick my times, you know, and then I'll get a message from somebody being like, did that upset you? You seem upset. And I'll get like whispers pop up and it's like, ugh, I was just singling out that person for like something to liven up the chat for a second, but then people don't always know that that's what you're doing, and then they feel like you feel bad, which passes emotion over onto them. Because I'm so good with my chat. I am such a good communicator. I do love so much, and I've met a lot of these people personally, that my emotions transfer to a lot of my chat sometimes. And I don't know if you know this, but sometimes when I'm streaming, somebody will whisper me like, hey, are you okay? Like, you got kind of snippy with that person, just checking in. And it's like, well, that part was for show, but I don't know how to tell you that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do get upset. So yeah, it's hard to